Welcome, Collective, to another great episode of Brews and Builds. And this episode could not have been done except by our amazing patrons. Whether you're part of the Collective, Squeeze Choir, BigTucks, MrCombo, Storm Count, it doesn't matter. We love you guys and thank you for the support.
Oh, here we are.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 123 of CMD
Wow, we're
Towers
figuring it
Brews and
out.
Builds. I'm MrCombo number 5, and my fellow host is having way too much fun with our new audio recording software,
Yes.
BigTuck.
Our new audio recording software, our new main sponsor of the channel, our replacements, our new way of life. I am here. We are talking about Redacted until they start paying us.
Well, guys, if you would like to help us out financially with our community, with us getting new products to make stuff better for you guys, head over to our Patreon, patreon.com/CMDTower. We do have 4 different tiers. Starts at just $1 a month on up. You get a lot of different value with it. The biggest one that I wanted to highlight is no matter what tier you sign up for, if you've ever wanted a platform for yourself to be able to speak, give thoughts on cards or mechanics, we're starting the Collective Diagnosis. This is something that's open to every tier of our Patreon. Every 3 months, we're going to poll 10 of our community members about a topic and let you guys record your own audio, write a little paragraph about how you feel, and then me and Tuck are going to talk about it, give you our thoughts and feelings, and kind of make it a great community episode. And if you're a part of our top tier, every 3 months, you're going to be on Brews and Builds. So we're going to have you here in the amazing Zencaster to, do anything we can to do weird sound effects like this, that we are going to put out there. So it's a great community. Definitely should join. And I'll say this, the Discord's been getting a lot more rambunctious over the last few weeks.
I feel like there's...
one could say it's preview season.
It's it's unfortunate that I had to drop from Brews and Build or from Action 4 this year for the foreseeable future. But one thing one pro of that is I'm actually excited about spoilers. So we don't need to get into that here, but anyway.
Well, another benefit of being a part of our patron community is our referral program. So if you're an existing patron and you recommend someone to join, we'll end up sending you something as a thank you. Depending on what tier, it could kind of depend on what we end up sending out. But grow the collective through your friends and family. Guilt them. It works.
It always works.
Now, if you'd like to pick up some of our great merchandise, head over to our store, cmdtower.com/merch. We do have our foil playmat. And yes, my basement is filled with CMD Tower sweaters.
Oh,
please,
they're here.
They're here. Go buy them for the love of Christ. Apparently 70 sweaters weighs 100 pounds and takes up 1/2 of my basement.
Oh my God, really?
Yes, it
just
does.
Like 2 giant boxes?
Well, it was until I had to separate them for sizes. So now it's like the ottoman's completely covered. Half of the couch is covered. I got one, like the extra large sweater stack is like toppling over because there's so many.
That's incredible.
Now, this episode, is brought to you by Zencaster, but also our amazing editor at _Tcoats. Tyler does do the video and audio for this Brews and Builds episode. So definitely give him a little thank you, a little shout out for putting together this great stuff for you. And of course, the free way is just share the content you're watching and or listening to, because every little bit of interaction from the collective does help. So Brews and Builds is our deck tech series. Since we conquered the path to 32, tackled tons of EDH themes, we're going to be discussing, or rather, theory crafting a new deck that doesn't even exist yet. Each month will consist of new decks, and we correlate how these decks are constructed similar to how beer is brewed. So we broke it down into 4 different categories. Then the final one, how does your deck close out, get to victory with yeast?
I'm gonna really need some help on this one. So yeast are living microorganisms that eat the sugar from the grain and poop out alcohol and CO2. It adds the alcohol content to carbonation. Without yeast, to be drinking flat sugar water, and without yeast cards, your deck wouldn't meet the goal of actually winning the game.
Without further ado, let's get brewing. Today, we're talking only creatures, no problem. Yes, I should have known Alter the Bird can't go in the deck because it's literally 3 sentences below my show notes. We're talking Nikara, Lair Scavenger, Yannik Scavenging Sentinel, and Umori the Collector. Let's kind of see how we're maybe going to win in the yeast package. It sounds like Tuck needs some help. So let's hear about your first card.
Okay, so this one I was shocked that this card is 12 cents because it's like the cornerstone of so many archetypes and so many decks. But Juniper Order Ranger is just a complete house in this deck. So 3 colorless, green, and a white for a creature human knight. It's a 2/4, which kind of sucks. But whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on that creature and a 1/1 counter on Juniper Order Ranger.
Oh, wow.
It's bonkers, right?
That's nuts.
And if you can get this out for 4 mana on curve and have a leftover one open for some other creature to immediately come out and trigger it, it's like the Cathar's Crusade in this deck, right? We talked about how Tauren's going to be generating tokens. We're just going to be dumping creatures out as much and as fast as we can. So they're just going to get bigger, bigger, bigger. All the 1/1 counter effects are going to come to it. And I think the real thing that I like about this card over some other ones is it doesn't specify token or non-token, right? It's just a creature. And similar scope to how the commander Nikara just says if another creature dies or leaves the battlefield, if it's another creature, not a token or anything, right? So this is going to build up our army. This is going to build up our win con, which is just attacking. And it just does it super, super efficiently.
So, first off, I love this card. You did a great job. This is a yeast card if I've seen one for this deck.
And it's only 12 cents.
And, I mean, kind of look at it this way, Tuck. This is almost like a budget version, the Cinnamon Toast Square version of, what is that? Cathar's
Crusade, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's perfect. Now, I do want to give you one correction, though. You've said this phrase a few times, and this is just me helping you. I just don't want you to be set up for disappointment. You know, having a Mori doesn't help you do any of these cards on curve, right?
Because I know you have to pay the 3 to put it to hand and then cast
it. And it costs 4. Yeah. So I don't know where this on curve is coming from. I think Amori's more a mid-late game, helping you get cheaper spells.
We didn't even actually. So I think we got some time. We're coasting pretty good here. When do you think is the time to even pull Umori out of the zone?
Well, pull her out of the zone when you don't have anything. You go play from hand
and just do it then, and just be like, yeah.
That's my action pass. Mm-hmm. And I truly believe in this deck because there's no way you build out Abzan and you don't have Graveyard Recursion naturally. So I'm of the mindset you get a Mori 2-hand as soon as possible when you don't have a good play to do. But then once it's in hand,
you just kind of
assess the board. But no, I would still play it as soon as you can because you're in all creatures. You want the mana reduction as soon as possible, but you don't want to put it into a potential board wipe situation, or if someone else has really popped off and it's people are already starting to chit chat, I'd hold it back then.
Yeah.
But if you're not seeing warning signs, get that out as soon as possible.
As fast, yeah. And I think you bring up a good idea of it. It could be like a rebuild, right? Where it's I know board wipe's coming. I can't do anything about it. I'm just gonna wait, and then I'm gonna play Umori and build my board back up as fast as I can, right?
Yep. All right, Tuck, are you ready? My first yeast card. This card has been printed a few different times.
Okay.
Its first print was in Innistrad, which is the cheapest copy. You can get it for 12 pennies.
Ooh.
This card is going to care about the number of creature cards in your graveyard, which should be plentiful. Bone Yard Worm coming in hot. Colorless green. Creature Worm uncommon. Its power and toughness are each equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard.
For 2 mana?
Yep.
What?
Does this get an S tier as well?
Yes, yeah. There is no question. 2 mana. If this was 3 mana, I'd be like, sure. It's just like that Managorder Hydra, right?
Yeah.
It's just gonna start little. It's gonna be a little baby worm. This might be the best creature in the deck.
Well, because also if you think about it, if you blink it out with Yannik, you're probably throwing out 20 counters, 25 counters.
And I think you bring up a really good point around the graveyard recursion. I do have some of it, and we'll get into a little bit of that in the spice package. But it's the most efficient, and I think you'll agree, the most efficient graveyard recursion is non-creatures, right?
Yeah.
It's your reanimates, it's your
or expensive creatures, Eternal Witness. Yeah.
Exactly, right? So I think the graveyard is going to be big. throughout the entire game. Right now, it's
Yeah.
primed. It's going to be primed for a Bajuka Bog sort of effect, which I
Well,
don't know
that's
if
not in
people will
budget,
run.
is it?
It's not, is it? Is Bajuka Bog worth money?
I thought it was worth like a few dollars.
Oh, really? Yeah, a buck 17. Get out of here. Yeah, right. For a land? Yeah, no. S tier, immediate. Yeah, no question. Like I have no. Do you have like a baseball crack, like a crack of the bat on the ball?
Nope. But I do have dramatic.
Let's all take a nice. Let's all have a nice cup of tea and listen to this dramatic music. You did it. You did it again, MrCombo. I knew it. I knew you'd be my man for this.
All right. But Tuck, give us your
Okay.
second yeast. How can you top Boneyard Worm?
Short answer, I can't. So, but I will try. This one is another card that I think is really cool, but just never really found a home for it. I actually came up with this deck about a month ago, and Rockety and Moss is kind of he's like good on the fly about like just thinking up weird shit, right? Like,
Yeah.
So me and him were talking about it, but by Felissa, Fang of Silverquill. So this is the backup to the Orzhov precon that Brina's in. She's 73 cents, which is kind of pushing it. But for 2 colorless and Orzhov, you get a legendary creature, vampire wizard that's a 3/2 that's flying with Mentor. So whenever it attacks, put a 1/1 counter on target attacking creature with less power. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, if it had counters on it, create X tapped 2/1 white and black inkling creature tokens with flying, where X is the number of counters on it. That's going to be a lot of inklings over the course of the game if this girl can stick around.
Yeah.
I'm very concerned that she is going to be a immediate target for removal because she has evasion and 2 relevant abilities that really going to help the deck go. And also we kind of talked about how there's a little bit of a token sub theme in here, but creature's going to be dying. Creature's going to get blown up. We're going to be drawing cards with that happening anyway from Nikara. So we might as well get some more value out of it. That could be a game winner depending on what the board state looks like.
Yeah, I think this is good for the deck. The only thing I get worried about was just a comment you made earlier where you were like, yeah, I'm probably going to have a fat graveyard a lot of the times. Really, in my head, it was like your graveyard is maybe going to be 15 deep or 20 because you're constantly bringing that stuff back. So when I see like, hey, I want to have this in here for all the die triggers, it's like, well, how much death triggers are we going to get? Right. Unlike the card earlier where it's like, hey, at the end of your turn, if something died, it's like, okay, I only need something to die once and I get the effect. This is something that feels like you want to have lots of stuff die, so you get lots of these inklings. Right. So I'll be interested to hear if you have this like sacrifice graveyard recursion package that really makes her shine, because I agree, her in a budget environment would just annihilate.
It's great. Yeah
she's a killer. And she's kind of a babe, a little bit of a babe.
Well, you ready for this babe of a second pick?
Am I ever?
54 cents, only printed ever in Odyssey. You know what's better than an Elvish Piper? One that could do it from the top of library. Let's talk Zoologist. 3 colorless green, creature druid rare. It's a 1/2. Activated ability, 3 colorless green tap. Reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, put it into play. Otherwise, put it into your graveyard. Hold on, let me rephrase that for Tuck's deck. Reveal the top card of your library. It doesn't matter what it is. It goes straight out because everything's a damn creature. Other than lands. Obviously, you could whiff on a land, but most of the time, you're getting creatures, bud.
How is this card 50 cents? This is incredible. Like, this is good in other decks. This is good in a lot of decks. Like, yeah, I mean, this is like SS tier. I take it back. This is the best card in the deck for sure. It's so efficient. It does suck. It's a 1/2, and someone's gonna be some asshole's gonna be playing a shock out there. I can smell it there already. Yeah. There's got to be a clap. There's got to be a clap on there. There has to be a clap.
Not yet. I mean, I'm sure I could add in stuff.
Okay.
But Tuck, also, I didn't add any of this stuff because I would assume it goes without saying you're going to do some sort of way to give your stuff protection, right?
Oh, we're going to get it.
Okay, because that's kind of, or haste, or find ways to do that. Because I think that's one of the things that I didn't include is like, how can we hexproof or haste? Because even the zoologist, like, you could
flicker. Baby.
Well, it's like you could totally flicker out Zoologist, but it's like, damn, I have to wait an entire turn to be able to
Yeah,
activate it. That kind of sucks. But if you could like flicker it, do it, and then figure out a way to do it again, like that's just
that's
insane. So
bonkers. Yeah, big fan. Big fan.
big fan, BigTuck, last pick.
All right. There's some people that claim this card is good. I am not one of them, but this card is very good on a budget. And it's because we're playing creatures. Literally, the only way this deck is going to win is by attacking. There's no other way to win. Period. I'm gonna slam Boneyard Worm into someone's face over and over and over and over and over again, and then bring it back, and then somehow bring it back with Zoologist.
Oh God! If only I had that Nelly song queued up over and over again.
Oh,
the one he did with like Tim McGraw or
I
whatever.
have so many drops. Oh, this is dangerous. So, I think this is one of the weakest of this loyal cycle, but for 22 cents, loyal loyal unicorn, that 10%'s catching up with me. Loyal Unicron, 3 colorless
Unicorn.
Unicorn.
Horn, not cron. It's not a version of COVID.
Do you think that narwhals exist?
Oh, of course. I think dragons exist and massive. Well, like, look, here's the thing. The world is so massive and the ocean is so deep. We have no effing clue what is here. Yes, Godzilla is not on this planet. I am very confident in that. But I bet you there's things that I guarantee in some of these weird remote parts of the world that people just don't go to. Oh, yeah, there's some weird shit.
Okay, so also, I like how you're like, listen, I don't purport to be an expert in anything, but I will tell you this. On the planet Earth, Godzilla does not exist.
Yes, Godzilla specifically is not here.
Okay, I'm sorry. That beer's catching up with me. Loyal Unicorn, 3 colorless and a white for a 3/4 creature unicorn with vigilance. And it has Lieutenant. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control one of your commanders or a commander, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to creatures you control this turn. Other creatures you control gain vigilance until end of turn. So the way I read this is kind of like an Odric card where it's going to turn everything into pseudo indestructible and vigilance for your turn. And then this is where we're going to get that value swinging in with all these little guys, right? All these like smaller mid-range creatures that are just going to swing in for damage somewhat wantonly. I do accept the fact that it's only on your turn, which is kind of stinky, but at least maybe you'll have some blockers for the inevitable clapback.
I mean, I'm going to be honest, Tuck. I can't remember the black and green lieutenant specifically, but I'm a firm believer. If you have partners, you should be running the lieutenant cards
as much as you can.
Yeah, because you have a 200% chance, or however you want to look at it, of always being able to get this lieutenant effect because you have 2 options in the zone.
The one that's really good in here too is Loyal Guardian, which is 4 colorless and a green for a 4/4 trampler. At the beginning of combat on your turn,
the counters?
You get counters, right? Would be a slam dunk. $3.61.
No, sir.
Not making it in this deck.
All right. Well, I'm going to bring home this yeast package with my final one. And I told Tuck, if you're going to have a big fatty out there with a kind of whatever effect,
a boneyard worm,
figure out a way to make it cheap. So what if I told you I could give you a 10/10 for a single green?
What?
How about we talk about Ghoul Tree? 7 colorless green, a creature zombie tree folk. It's been printed once in Dark Ascension for 59 cents. It's a rare. It's a 10/10. But you guys wondered, why did I say it was a single green? Well, because it costs 1 less to cast for every creature card in your graveyard. So
no questions. I thought this card was like $10, but it's 50 cents.
Yeah. It goes with the Yannik. Flicker it. You're distributing 10 counters. Insane. I want to cast it. What's in the graveyard? Oh, 1 green. There you go. This is a card, Tuck, you could probably do off curve because you might be discarding stuff in the early game and be like, wow, turn 3? I got 7 creatures in the yard? Okay. How about a 10/10 and I win?
Best case scenario, you have your 5th draw or whatever. You're like, okay, I played 4 lands, right? And I still have a full grip. Thought Gorger. Play that. Next draw. Ghoul Tree. Turn 5.
No, the best one is Thought Gorger. You discard your hand, and then you exile them with Yannik. You draw counters based on what you took off. You get Ghoul Tree. Everything's in the graveyard. 1 green, boom, it's there.
Nice. Yes, I'm here for it. I'm 90% sure I have a copy of this card just lying around. I'm gonna go digging
Nice.
for it immediately.
Well, guys, that's going to wrap up how this deck, and we sure found it, is going to win with the Yeast package.